Hey guys, welcome to LaughNapkin. Today I'll be reading 3 stories from r/MaliciousCompliance, plus 1 bonus subscriber submitted story. If you have a story that you'd like to have featured, please submit it in the LaughNapkin subreddit. I'll throw a link in the description. Now let's get into it. Blame me for your cheating because I didn't do your laundry? Okay. I dated an a-hole before dear hubby. He was the cheating kind, and we'll call him Chad. About 6 months into our relationship, some girl from another school went into a crazy rage that Chad was cheating on her with me. Spammed everybody in her address book with the news. Left me some wild and crazy voicemails. Generally lost her crap very publicly on him. Upon confronting Chad with this shocking news, he made a terrible mistake. He decided to blame me for his cheating. If I just did the laundry and made dinner more often, he wouldn't have cheated on me. How these things are related is baffling, but it definitely got him on the express train to X-Town. We didn't even live together, so it was an especially odd choice for the blame and shame game. I did, however, have the keys to his place and malice in my heart. You want me to do your laundry? I'll do your laundry. I swung by the local big box bath store and picked up the cheapest, bright red towel they had. You know, the one that'll exude dye for its entire lifespan as a towel, turning everything that will ever get near it pink. Then I loaded up his washer with my towel of bleeding dye and everything white that I could find in the hamper. Underwear, socks, t-shirts, you name it, it was going to be pink. I then executed the tackiest breakup of my life. You think getting dumped by text message is bad? I did it by post-it note. Right on the lid of the washer, I left a "we're through" type message, just in case the number of names I called him after that blame and shame attempt hadn't made it completely clear. He had sort of run away before I got all the way to "we're over." It worked even better than I'd hoped because he didn't come home for a few days. He bugged out to visit his family for a long weekend to avoid the heat from 2 pissed off women and their friends. By the time he got home, he had a damp, pink, mildewy mess in his washer. Based on the angry voicemails I got, I guess Chad really didn't want me to do his laundry after all. Think you deserve more than 10% off and refuse to listen to our warnings? Then you can't have it. So, I work customer service at a very popular retail store that basically sells everything from food to electronics to plants. You've all been to this hellhole, and I'm sure you know exactly where I'm talking about, but I'm not going to say the name since I'm still here until uni co-op starts. So, since I work the customer service desk at one of the least respected stores, I pretty much see the scum of the earth daily, and most of the management is part of that. Making rules that simply make sense on paper, but not in practice, like giving screaming customers whatever they want because they screamed, but not giving anything to the people who are kind to the workers, etc. Today, management had our backs though. I have a lot of stories, but this one is fresh from yesterday, so here you go. A woman comes up to the customer service desk asking if she can get a discount on a pair of shoes, because they look tattered and bad. There was nothing wrong with the shoes, they just looked like cheap shoes because, well, that's what they were. My coworker was the one she approached, and not wanting to argue, told her that we can give her 10% off. This is the max discount, even for associates. We aren't really technically supposed to give discounts on anything, but it's a big company and they don't care about a few bucks, so whatever. This girl gets mad though, and she doesn't think that she should have to pay anything even close to full price for something of such low quality. The shoes were $14.97 by the way. My coworker explains that's the best we can really do for her, but she could buy a pair that she thinks looks less tattered. She says, "They all look like that," because that's how this shoe is supposed to look. And that she wants to speak to a manager because she deserves to pay less for something so tattered. At this point, I stepped in because we were understaffed that night and I knew the managers were currently dealing with other issues. And in my experience, most people just need to be told by another person the same thing they were told the first time. I told the lady that the max discount anyone is able to give in the store is 10%, and that's only for actually broken items, even for associates. And that if the manager comes up, they'll most likely tell her that she's getting no discount at all. She scoffs and says, "Sure, I want to speak to them anyways and we'll see. I really want these shoes and they're the only ones in my size and they're tattered." I tried to tell her again that the manager won't give her a higher discount and that it'll probably take them like 10 minutes to get to the front, but she tells me to just get the manager and she'll see for herself. Cue malicious compliance. I had originally thought that it'd be an a-hole tax situation, but it turned out better. So I call for a manager, and like I predicted, it took about 10 to 15 minutes for them to come to the front, and I guess they weren't very happy about it, presumably since they were in the middle of something else. So at this point, this lady has already wasted at least 15 minutes of her day waiting here and making faces at me and my coworker as though she had won. I point the manager towards the customer when she gets there, and they ask what the issue is. The lady starts bashing me and my coworker, saying that we're horrible at customer service and the customer is always right, blah blah blah, and she wants a bigger discount than 10% because these shoes were broken, she now says. I guess since we told her that she won't get a discount unless it's broken. And she doesn't want to pay even close to full price for something so low quality, she repeated. My manager looks at it and tells her that it's not broken and that's just how the shoes look. The lady argues, saying that they are and she deserves a bigger discount. At this point, I guess my manager just snapped and said, "Okay, well, if you're sure they're broken, then we can't actually sell them. They have to go to our claims department and get sent back to the company. Sorry for your troubles. Is there anything else I can help you with?" As she takes the shoes and puts them into the bin we have behind the desk that goes to claims. The woman is speechless for a second and my manager walks away. And then the woman starts stuttering to us that she'll take the 10% now, and we told her no. She even said that she'll pay full price since they were the only ones in her size, and we just told her over and over that no, we have to send them back to the company since they're broken, and we can't sell them to anyone. She eventually gives up and walks away. My coworker and I have a good laugh, and about 5 minutes later, she walks past the desk again and all but yells, "I'm not buying a single thing from this store anymore." I responded, "Okay, have a great night," and smiled all cherry while she huffed and left. Unfortunately, I'm 99% sure she'll be back in a week like every other customer who's never shopping here again, but one can hope. Don't want to believe that I have the flu? Okay, I'll come in. I read another Puke Story on this sub that reminded me of something similar that happened to me. This was about 30 years ago, back when I still worked for others. I started my own business 27 years ago and I'm now retired. But I have some fond memories of working for a few pricks, and this is one. This boss and I had a bad relationship from the beginning. You see, I was supposed to be a partner of the firm, but he went behind my back and made a deal with the money man on his own. So I was stuck and had to take a subordinate position, which I had to take because I had a mortgage to pay and was desperate. Anyway, I had a salary, benefits, sick days, etc. About a year after I started, there was a horrible flu going around and I got it. Fever, chills, the craps, puking, everything. It started on a Friday evening. On Monday, I was still in bad shape, so I called in. Boss is one of those people that thinks everyone is a liar because he is, and doesn't believe that I'm sick, but says, "Okay, stay home and get better," etc. About 2 hours later, I'm laying in bed and I hear a knock at the door. I come to the door and there he is, looks at me and says I don't look sick. He said he really needs to get some work with me done that day and I need to come in. A power play. So I go, "Okay, screw it, I'll go in." In the conference room was a big display that he'd been working on with his notes right there on the table. I had been drinking chicken soup and eating saltines, feels good on the throat. And I was feeling sort of queasy from the trip down to the office. I'm standing there listening to him and to be honest, just looking at him made me sort of sick and my mouth starts salivating really heavily and I'm getting that feeling in my throat and up comes my morning food. And yup, I blew chunks all over his notes and notebook. I'm not saying I aimed it that way, but I also didn't try to miss either. It was a nice leather one too. Some even splashed onto his pants. He lost his crap and was yelling at me. I just stood there swaying. I finally said, "I tried to tell you I was sick. I think I better go home now." I turned and walked out. I have no idea who cleaned it up, but it wasn't me. I got back home and went to bed. About 2 days later, I came back in. Guess who was homesick then with the flu? Boss man. And then his wife, and then just about everyone else in the office. So bosses, when you have a good employee who's sick, believe them. Want to be rude to me when I'm simply trying to clean your bathroom? Okay, have at it. So first of all, this is not my story and it did not happen to me. However, the man who told it to me does not have a Reddit, isn't interested in Reddit, and gave me his permission to share it for him. We'll call him Tom. He's a maintenance supervisor at a large hunting sporting goods store here in East Tennessee. His store is quite short-staffed right now, so even though he's the supervisor, he was tasked with cleaning the bathrooms tonight before he got off. The store was so busy tonight, it being Saturday and all, that he literally had to wait 35 minutes for the woman's bathroom to get clear before he could clean and stock it. The women were complaining to his supervisors about the bathroom getting dirty and understocked, but they also wouldn't stop pushing past him to use it for that entire 35-minute period. Finally, it was empty. He entered the restroom and blocked the door with his cleaning cart, then got to work wiping off surfaces, cleaning the counters and mirrors, you know the drill. He had noticed that none of the stalls had toilet paper at this point, and he was saving that for last. While he was cleaning, a woman, who I'll call Horrible Lady, started knocking on the door and demanding to let her use the bathroom. I'll transcribe the conversation as he told me. Keep in mind that apparently the entire conversation, she's tapping her foot impatiently and putting her hand on her hip as if he's a child. "I'm sorry, ma'am, the restroom's closed for cleaning temporarily, but I'll be done here very shortly." "Well, I need to go now, so please, get out." "Well, ma'am, the restroom is so dirty that it doesn't meet our standards, and I have to stock it. It's currently out of—" "I don't care about your job, that's not my business. You can worry about your job later. You'll be here all night. I need to use the restroom." "Ma'am, I just need to grab something real quick and I'll be done in just 1 minute." He then steps outside the bathroom to go around the corner and grab the toilet paper from the maintenance closet, located right next to the restrooms. He would have been absent from the bathroom for a grand total of 10 seconds. When he exits the closet, he sees that she's pushing his cart out of the way. She says, "I'm using the bathroom. I'll be done in a minute. Then you can do your job." So instead of informing her that there was no toilet paper, he leaned against the wall and waited patiently for her reaction. After about 5 minutes or so, he could finally hear the woman timidly calling, "Sir?" from the bathroom. He barely pushes the door ajar and says, "Yes, ma'am?" "There's no toilet paper in here." "Yes, ma'am, that's what I was trying to tell you. That's the only thing left I had to do." He ended up having to hand a roll of toilet paper to the next woman to walk in so Horrible Lady could get some. He told me the feeling of validation he felt when he left made his entire horrible night better. This story is submitted by Iron Man Reigns. As per suggestion by Southern GA Girl 67, here's a story from high school. Well, one of a few related ones, but anyway, here we go. The first one is, well, a bit of an entitled parent malicious compliance cross. Anyway, this new kid in school had a restored first-generation Honda Civic his parents gave him. These first-gen Civics are extremely small enough to fit in a box truck. This point is key. Anyway, there's a bunch of us who had trucks and off-road vehicles. Enough so that the school literally dedicated a section of the student lot just for these vehicles, as they tend to be large and extremely dirty from running in mud and other off-road use. One day, this kid parks his Civic in the dedicated section, as so it happens to be near the entrance closest to the classroom he needed to go. He is asked not only by us with the big vehicles, but some of the teachers as well not to park there again. The kid was okay with this, but his dad flipped out and caused some crap at school with the principal. But he also uttered the words, If it's such a problem, just move it then. Okay. Malicious compliance mode engaged. So one night, the kid leaves the car parked in the off-road part of the lot again during an overnight school trip. A bunch of us, kinda loaded the car into one of the trucks and moved it to a gravel pit, replacing it with a wrecked car that looked like a clone of the restored one. Ultimately, it turned into a week of musical civics. We had found enough of these little cars that looked similar enough that we could just keep swapping back and forth between the real one and one of their various wrecks, whenever the kid pushed his luck in parking in the wrong spot. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really enjoyed making it. Don't forget to tell me what you think about these stories and submit your own story in the comment section below. See you guys in the next video.